Joe Biden has another huge headache in his growing classified document scandal. His own attorney general forced to appoint a special counsel because it looks like Joe was leaving secret files all over the place. A second trove of documents were found in his garage in Wilmington, Delaware, right next to his prized muscle car. The president is downplaying the discovery and using the classic Corvette defense.
Classified material next to your Corvette? What were you thinking?
I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So
but anyway,
was in a locked garage.
Yes, as well as my Corvette. But as I said earlier this week, people know I take classified documents and classified material seriously. They discovered a small number of documents of classified markings in storage areas and file cabinets in my home and my personal library.
Yeah, no one ever breaks into a locked garage. No one ever opens the garage door and leaves it open.
Possible.
Today, the DOJ discovered another document stashed in Biden's house. The president's lawyers claim they were inadvertently misplaced. There are a lot of big questions here, and the White House is more than happy to answer them all.
I would refer to Department of Justice or my colleagues in the counsel's office. But again, I'm just not going to go beyond what the president said. I'm not going to go beyond what the president said. I'm not going to go beyond what the president said. Again, I'm just not going to go into the particulars or the specifics of what the Department of Justice did. Again, there's an ongoing process. It's being reviewed. Don't have more to share. Again,
was it because
there is a process, an ongoing process that is occurring?
The process. And it looks like The View and a Democrat congressman have a solid theory on the documents.
I've never seen a luckier person than Donald Trump. Just as we're this close to getting him, but somehow these documents appear.
Does it feel like Oppo research to you? Does it feel like the Republicans are behind it?
It's not.
It did originally, but I'm sorry. But not now.
I'm also aware of the fact that things can be planted on people. Things can be planted in places and then discovered conveniently. That may be what has occurred here.
Joy obviously stealing that jacket from Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice.
That's where I saw it before.
How do we not know hasn't been planted, Geraldo? Maybe this is the work of the Russians. No, it's the work of the Russians, the same people who colluded with Trump.
It's preposterous. Yes. It's ridiculous. As is this entire scandal, in my view. I think that this is a much ado about nothing. This is the Republicans having a chance to go, nah, you raided Mar-a-Lago. Now look at Joe's garage and so forth.
Doesn't Joe deserve it? Joe deserves it. Joe got up on his high horse.
That's why.
He deserves it.
I think that because of his stern and self-righteous and inflated outrage, faux outrage, over the President Trump's Mar-a-Lago stash, then he looks like the hypocrite that he apparently is. And I think that that's what's most damaging. It's his own hypocrisy.
It's so amazing, Dana, because these events happen so close. And with Trump, it was in August, and here it is now. And you don't have to say, imagine if this was Trump. You don't have to imagine it because it already happened. They did crucify him.
Yeah, I hope that the media is going to update all of this isn't as bad as Trump visual aids that they've been working on, because this story keeps growing. I have a feeling it will grow a little bit more as well. I don't know how the documents, how they got revealed. I hope that we do find that out. I also want to know what did they know and when did they know it at the White House, especially in the press office, because if they weren't told about the November 2nd discovery, that's something, right? Or did they decide to also play it down and not comment until after the midterms, until it got there? And I do think that, you know how Biden said, how irresponsible could you be? That's like the new, what difference does it make? Yeah. Which was what that was the theme of the Hillary Clinton campaign. How irresponsible could you be? And you could take that line to the Biden administration on almost every single issue. Another point is that a locked garage is a defense. Is his password?
Yeah.
Because that's not going to cut it. And imagine if President Trump had said that. Yeah. Oh no, it's just like, don't worry, my wife's closet has a lock on it. This is absurd. The other thing is that it's really bad for the government and for people who actually deal with classified information. Last February, the government actually secured a prison term for a former Defense Department employee who mishandled classified materials. And if you read this article, it was actually a CNN piece, you find out that what she had done is she was working on a thesis. She needed to work on the thesis. COVID happened. You couldn't get into the building. She took a classified document home. She had people over to her room where they had a dinner party, and another colleague sees these documents and turns her in. Because that's what you are supposed to do.
Yeah.
So she's in prison. And these guys are like,
that's amazing. That's incredible. I don't know. What to think?
That's horrifying.
Yeah, you know, Kennedy, there were some conspiracies put forth on The View suggesting it might be Republicans. But couldn't you argue?
Probably was, yeah.
But couldn't you argue that it's more, if there's any conspiracy, it would come from the people who don't want Biden to run, which is like 80% of the Democrats.
And Mayor Pete.
So maybe if they were trying to tank his campaign, they would have planted those documents, people within the Biden circle, at his Penn office in D.C. and at his Wilmington, Delaware home. But that didn't happen because, you know, Geraldo thinks this isn't a big deal. I think they all do it. I think every president squirrels away documents. I don't know if he was trying to hide something or he's just incredibly irresponsible. Two things strike me here. One, he doesn't know what's in them. He doesn't know how they got there. He doesn't know how long they've been there. He has no idea who put them there. That's a real issue if you're talking about top secret classified information. And yeah, we should be concerned about that considering the people, potentially spies, who are surrounding politicians like Dianne Feinstein and Eric Swalwell. That's number one. Number two, after the week in politics we had last week with the speaker drama, you cannot deny that the Matrix is real. And someone is writing every chapter of this, because I honestly thought this week it was going to get maybe boring. And then here we have like, oh, there was a third trench of documents like, thank you, overlords.
Yes. You know, Jesse, I do think this is important, A, because it's clear that Joe doesn't know what the hell's going on, right? And B, this is, to me, is worse than Watergate.
Yeah. Well, that's Joe's defense. You know, I don't know what's in my house. I don't know what's in my office. But I don't know who put it there, and I don't know what the documents say. He's the idiot defense.
It is. And then you start looking at the stuff about the University of Pennsylvania, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so he opens up the Biden Center at the UPenn, and then China pours money to UPenn, and then he gets paid with that money. And then as a reward, he sends the UPenn president to be the ambassador to Germany. It's great. And then they lobby against all the tenacious, aggressive investigations of Chinese espionage once they open the Biden Center. Greg, did you know that next to a Corvette is the safest place on Earth?
I had no idea.
If you took the Corvette and you drove it to Taiwan, China wouldn't invade.
Yes.
Now, have you ever had a garage door and you hit the button and it closes, but all of a sudden it goes back up because a leaf is dangling into the beam and it won't let you close it? That's what we're doing. That's Fort Knox. That's Fort Knox. Biden's automatic garage door opener is the safest thing you can have. How many times have you been driving? You can imagine him in the Corvette. Jill, Jill, got to turn around. I think I left the garage door open. Did they have a garage sale? I mean, how do we know Hunter? Oh, guess what? Mom and Dad are in Rehoboth. Bring the strippers over. Hunter, these things are there for 7 years. You're saying Hunter didn't party while his parents were out? You're saying Hunter didn't have Jackie Bao, the Chinese spy who was working for the Biden campaign, over at the house? Did he have Patrick Ho, the guy that was indicted for espionage, over at the house? What business partner of Hunter went over to the house? That's what I want to know.
Unlike
Geraldo,
Hunter, there's no evidence that anything was compromised. Zero evidence.
We don't know that.
And
we
sloppiness is not a
started
federal
the investigation, Geraldo. I'm sure the FBI would be interested to know, because Joe Biden ran his basement campaign from the house where these classified documents were. How many campaign staff members were going in and out of there for a year? How many guys setting up the Wi-Fi? You know, the Geek Squad? How do we know the Geek Squad wasn't really the Russians, and they're going in, plugging things in the garage? Oops, look at these Ukraine documents. Click, click, send them, boom. It's so easy to get into this situation, Geraldo. You have no idea. Also, Biden is using the Hillary defense, which I love. He's saying, you know what? My lawyers have looked into all of my offices and determined that these are the classified documents that we're going to turn over. The rest of the documents we found, mostly about Hunter's wedding and yoga. Who gets away with that?
If it wasn't for
Geraldo?
Mar-a-Lago, would you care? Would you care at all? If it wasn't
Of course
for
I would. I don't even care about Mar-a-Lago. I care about Car-a-Lago. Also, this is so stupid and it really makes me angry. Trump's under investigation by 2 special counsels. Biden's under investigation. His son is under investigation. So these lawyers, who you know I hate, are basically going to determine who the next president's going to be. You can indict one, not the other. You can indict neither. You can indict both. You can blackmail. Why are like a handful of lawyers and prosecutors going to determine who the next president's going to be? I mean, they did it with Hillary. They investigated Trump before he became president, during his presidency, after his presidency. Now they have Joe and his son under lock. I mean, the FBI, these guys, it's too much investigation.
Car-a-Lago.
Car-a-Lago.
Did you just come up with that?
Took me all day.
Really? Good for you. Good for you. But this is
I heard it was Johnny's idea.
This is a disturbing trend. The Bidens just leave stuff everywhere. They leave guns in trash cans, diaries in halfway houses, babies in strippers.
What do you think? Yeah, babies inside strippers. So what do you think the chances are that they find more documents in more homes and more offices?
Yes,
what are the chances?
The chances, I say, are good, huh? But don't hold me to it. I might change my mind.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.